So if you are not a 12-year-old, you might not have heard that Logan Paul, a popular YouTuber, is in some hot water. Basically, the YouTuber posted a video of himself in a Japanese forest that is known for people to commit suicide in. And there's been many movies about this forest, basically on its haunted nature. Now, Logan Paul went into the forest with his friends, and they were filming and kind of vlogging the experience, and they came across a body that was hanging from a tree. And instead of turning off the cameras or doing anything with any sort of empathy or human qualities, what they did instead was continue to film, do close-ups of the body, and then they proceeded to leave the forest and giggle about it. And then he edited the video, he posted it to YouTube. Now, he didn't monetize the video, and he tried to make it some sort of call out for suicide prevention, sort of, kind of, but instead the entire internet, essentially, except for his Logang, is that what they're called?
Oh, the Logan Paulers.
The Logan Paulers was really upset by this, rightfully so, right? Because it did sort of poke fun at suicide. It did sort of capitalize off somebody's pain and a family's pain that now has to see their loved one on a Logan Paul video after they've already gone through this horrendous loss, and it's very upsetting. Like so I watched the video. It's been removed from his YouTube, but there are some sites that have it, and so I watched part of the video, and I felt sick. I felt sick to my stomach. Now, you recently did a video kind of breaking down some of the controversy about this. Tell me about that.
So yeah, I had to fight the urge of just raking the guy over the coals anymore. I wanted to, because I've always thought he's a tool. I've thought his brother's a tool, and I think that they monetize and they garner this cult following by videoing every sneeze fit that they have, right? And that's fine. Like, they weren't hurting anyone, so I didn't really care about what they did. Like, I just saw them pop up, and I was like, yeah, they're annoying. But this is a result.
This hurts somebody.
Yeah, this is a result of just looking at yourself first. I mean, even his first part apology was all I. The guy fucking quoted Spider-Man's uncle to try and make himself sound like in his apology.
So I want to read you the apology, because I'm a firm believer. I believe in the good in people. I really do. And I try to give people the benefit of the doubt, even if it is Logan Paul. And so I think when I look at apology letters, I look for one thing, and that's remorse. So I'm gonna read you this apology. It says, where do I begin? Let's start with this. I'm sorry. Great start. This is a first for me. I've never faced criticism like this before, because I've never made a mistake like this before. I'm surrounded by good people and believe I make good decisions, but I'm still a human being. I can be wrong. I didn't do it for views. I get views. I did it because I thought I could make a positive ripple on the internet, not cause a monsoon of negativity. That's never the intention. I intended to raise awareness for suicide and suicide prevention. And while I thought if this video just saves just one life, it'll be worth it, I was misguided by shock and awe, as portrayed in the video. I still am. I do this shit every day. I've made a 15-minute TV show every single day for the past 460 plus days. One may understand that it's easy to get caught up in the moment without fully weighing the possible ramifications. I'm often reminded of how big of a reach I truly have, and with great power comes great responsibility. For the first time in my life, I'm regretful to say I handled that power incorrectly. It won't happen again. I love everyone. I believe in people. I'm out. Peace, Logan for life. This is the worst apology I've ever seen.
I wouldn't say it's as bad as Kevin Spacey's, but it's still pretty bad.
I do this shit every day. I made a 15-minute video, so like, give me a break. What? Yeah. When you poke fun at suicide and somebody's I was like appalled even in the video. Like, the fact that they watched the video or put the video up is appalling and disgusting in itself. That said, when they're in the video and they're reacting to this human that has suffered, like really suffered in their life so much that they wanted to take their own life, and they're reacting being like, whoa, this is real life, this is crazy.
Yeah, it's a tool.
I'm sorry, you're not, you're too old for that.
Well,
have some empathy and have some like wherewithal to be like, guys, like this is sad.
He never once mentioned the guy in his apology.
Family.
In an apology. So that There's so many different layers to it. As I was saying on the video, I never focused on him because he's redundant to me. I don't really care about him. But the problem is when you have such a godlike following, which he does, there's no undermining this. It's not like, oh, who cares, who watches it?
Yeah.
No, it's like 8, 9, 14, 10, 15, whatever it is, these young kids who are now online.
Well, we know who watches him. We know who's following because they're going to be commenting on this video.
Well,
we know.
So what happens is now the seriousness of this is that they're actually online having debates with full-grown adults about suicide. Yeah. That's what that imbecile has caused, right? Is he's mental illness and depression is one of the most understudied.
It.
Yeah, it's understudied. It's under talked about. People don't really understand the real disease that is mental illness and depression. So, as a society, we need to start adjusting, right, and start understanding, asking more questions, being more empathetic. And what he did is he made fun of it. He laughed, and now there's a bunch of young kids, millions of them, because it was at 6 million views before YouTube took it down, and YouTube have a lot to answer for as well. They put his apologies #1 trending shock horror after it. So what happens is these kids now, like 6, whatever amount of them, are now walking around, and the only association they have with suicide and depression is with this imbecile who they think is the real victim. That's the biggest problem of it all. That's what I wanted to shed light on. If anybody wants to see a breakdown, I'm not going to do a shameless plug of myself. I'm going to plug my friend, the True Geordie, who his video should have been #1 trending. I think it's at like 1 million views right now. But the guy just wears his heart on his sleeve. You love him or hate him. He's got some dodgy things he says, but I love him to death, and I've met him. And his reaction, it's heartbreaking. It's sadder to me than anything I've seen in a long time because he's 6'5", like nearly 250 pounds, and he just breaks down what he's went through.
Wow.
And how sad and how lonely he's been at times, and how all these fans of his message him and say, you know what, you're the only thing that kind of keeps me going. He put a podcast out on Christmas Day because he knew there was going to be people who are alone.
Yeah.
And he says this guy here, who's got 15 million subs, the Geordie's got what, 600,000? This guy's got 15 million. Think how many people who have maybe messaged him alone and now have watched this of him making fun of someone who saw no other option than to take their own life. So.
Yeah, there are other options. I want to end this kind of on a positive and helpful note. There are other options. Like, you are not alone. Suicide is preventable, and there are people out there who want to help you. So if you are feeling sad or depressed or having any sort of suicidal thoughts, I want you to call 1-800-273-8255. We'll put that number in the description box as well. Let us know your thoughts on this video and how we can really start a conversation that is productive about suicide, and we'll see you guys soon.